Thank you, Andreas.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. The flexibility is actually appreciated, and it's just going to be an informal chat, basically about career transition for PhD students, postdocs, and how they can work in the industry. So basically, I have 3 areas here. So the career in the industry is the first part, and then future of work, and then automation. This disassociation between how PhDs are perceived by industrial leaders. So perceived in the sense that the ability of both the industrial leaders and the PhD or the postdocs, in whichever case, can help to translate their skills for the betterment of the company. So what's your impression about this, and why do you think this disassociation happens?
Right, so I mean, for most of my life I worked in academia, so only relatively recently, 10 years ago, not that recently, but not for a long part of my life I worked in industry, so my perspective is somewhat limited, but I will try to give you some feedback on your answer, on your question. Yeah, so for me, I mean, at least, I mean, I guess it depends on the type of industry that you're working in, but in my type of industry, plant breeding, plant genetics, plant biotechnology, I think there's quite a high demand for innovation and research and development, and my feeling is that PhDs are really very much appreciated and welcome to the industry. So I from my perspective, and in my kind of industry, I don't see so much of a disassociation, as you say. I think they're pretty much welcomed and appreciated. But there may be other types of industry with, I don't know, more traditional products and maybe less demand for permanent innovation and research and development, where there's not so much of a requirement for necessarily PhD skills, but in many industries, certainly in mine, I think PhDs are very much welcome and appreciated, and can definitely help the company translate, I mean, ideas into financial gain. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I think the bottom line, like you rightly said, is based on the industry and how the demand for such a skill is. Okay, yeah, I think it does explains it. Yeah, thank you for that part. But then the follow-up question would be, so if we have young professionals now that are in the industry, let's say they succeeded to make that transition to the industry. So young professionals, either master's student or PhD student. So if they long or they want to move higher up in the career level aspect of their professional life, how will you advise that they go about this? What's the key takeaway that you can
takeaway?
Yeah.
Advice to
yes,
young professionals. I mean, not surprisingly, hard work, I think, is still one piece of advice. I mean, being passionate about what you're doing. I mean, really get to know your stuff, study hard, work hard, and be passionate. That would be the first piece of advice, I think. Second piece, be passionate about what you're doing. I mean, really make the right choices before. Make sure you find something. I mean, it's not always easy, I understand, but find something that you're really burning for. I think that's the most important part of it. Second piece of advice, also nothing overly surprising. I mean, interact with others, build your network, go to conferences, meet people, talk to people, get some kind of network that you can build your future moves on. Yeah. Third piece of advice, I mean, I would say, work, study abroad, just to get, increase your soft skills, get new perspectives, get international experience, feel comfortable in the world as such, not just in your comfort zone, but really get out of your comfort zone and study or work, best both abroad, and not just for half a year, but I mean it has to be a substantial amount of time, I think, to really immerse in this kind of international
mindset,
thinking.
so to say.
Yeah.
So if I could summarize it, the three parts. So the first part definitely is hard work.
I'm afraid so. I mean, at least if you really, are ambitious and want to, but I mean, you should also, of course, have fun.
Definitely. So hard work. Then the second is, the third, I remember vividly, soft skills.
Yeah.
Improve on your soft skills. And I think the second tie to the third part, which is to build on your network.
Yeah.
Am I mistaken? Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's no shortcut to hard work. Yeah. It's always hard work, and I think it will remain so. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for that. And then the other part is, I think this is more to do with, I would say it's a challenge from the academic perspective, because there seems to be the impression that brilliant minds, so the researchers in the academia, they are moving away from the academia to the industry. So the question is, why is this happening?
Why is this happening? I mean, first of all, I think there's nothing wrong with people moving from academia to industry. There's often a lot more potential to, translate your ideas into something that can benefit society in the end. It's nothing wrong also that companies, of course, are trying to make money with that, but that doesn't mean it cannot benefit society, and young, brilliant minds, as you say, who are moving to from academia to industry, I think, have generally many more opportunities to really translate their ideas and, our innovation potential into real innovations. And so I don't really see
That
I wouldn't consider it to be a problem or a negative thing.
Yeah,
Actually, it's, of course, it would not be good on the other hand, I guess, if academia lost all its brilliant minds, because you also need some basic science that is not directed just towards a profit. You have to have basic science to develop new ideas from which you can follow on to then look into areas that translate into products and into beneficial innovations for society. But at the bottom of everything, of course, there's still basic science, and for that also academia needs brilliant minds. So but there's a place for both, I guess.
True. And so if we drum up on the idea there, it's not wrong to make that transition or to go into the industry. So if you are going to summarize it, how best is it that these individuals that are considering to transition into the industry, what's the best way to go about that? Maybe just a quick summary of it?
Best way to transition to industry.
Yes. From maybe research, or from doing their PhD students, or even from being a master's student, for example.
That's a little bit going back to your first question. Maybe you don't always need a PhD for all types of industry. That's true, but at least for the type of industry that I'm in, I think it's worth doing a PhD first, get that kind of experience with doing your own research and asking the right questions and trying to address these questions and have some creative project on your own, I think that's an important set of skills that will help you transition to industry. But having said that, it's certainly not true for every position and every individual. Yes.
Okay, that's true. So, to kind of like put it in summary for the individuals watching this, so you are saying, okay, it's not that every position in the industry needs a PhD, but PhD kind of like enables independent thinking, which plays a critical role in the industry.
That's an important aspect of it, yes.
Okay.
Just as you put it.
Thank you. And so the last part is going to be, well, I'll merge them together. So future of work and automation. So that part of future of work, you will agree with me that things are moving very fast these days. So when we look back at COVID, for example, we see that the way we work now has changed completely. So I guess my question then would be, if we look at your industry, for example, I know we can't put it all into all the industry in the same umbrella, but what will the future of work look like?
I mean, you implied kind of already some of the answers. I mean, there would be a lot more automation. I think that's pretty obvious. Less manual work, probably also less, office work, not just manual work, because a lot of processes can be automated through algorithms, artificial intelligence. So, I mean, you really have to. I mean, there will be less work, I think, for people in general. But it's not just affecting manual work, and manual work is to some extent, or to a substantial extent, I think it's also affecting, office positions or academic positions. A lot of things can be streamlined or automated through algorithms, artificial intelligence. So you really have to, I guess, stay on top of things. I mean, try also. I mean, when you're young, learn how to program, get computer language skills. Helps you stay on top of things. Embrace automation. Try to understand and use it to your benefit. Don't consider it an enemy. It's just the way things are going. You have to embrace it and try to stay on top of things. And
so the bottom line is inevitable. We just have to adapt by upgrading your skills.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But I think it also ties to the second question I was about to ask, which basically is the skills needed for that future of work, which you brilliantly put in summary. But then the question is, if we look at robotics and automation, so individuals, I mean, not everybody is in this field of robotics, and we know that automation is coming in. So how best, of course you said, it's essential not just what you are doing, but learn some coding into it, but is there a way, like maybe soft skills that could be of benefit to this? Aside the
difficult question.
Yeah, it just came to my mind because, of course, we know the hard skills is the important part of the automation. But if we look at the way going forward, does soft skills also play a role in this? Or, I mean, I guess it might not be a yes or no answer to that, maybe.
I mean, soft skills as being of some kind of benefit to dealing with automation and robotics. Well, I mean,
or will it be more to human interaction they did that?
I mean, the point is, it's less about human-human interaction. It's more about human-computer interaction, and the advantages of soft skills are somewhat limited. That would be at least my first answer to that. I mean, you don't have to be an engineer maybe to in robotics, robotic engineering to take advantage of these systems, but you have to. But these days, digital natives, children grow up with computers. They are digital natives, so they will be generally able, I think, to manage control systems for robotic systems. I mean, there are interfaces which are usually user-friendly, so that will, of course, help to take advantage of these systems and to operate them or to manage operation of these systems. Soft skills in terms of human interactions, I mean, it will still be required in the future, but for that particular aspect, I don't really quite see how that makes such a difference, I'm afraid. I mean, one could say it's a bit of a, sad aspect of the future of work, but
True.
I mean, it will. On the other hand, less manual work, even less time you spend maybe on computers yourself means more time for other things in life and also for human interaction.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Anyway, this is the last question I have, and I will say I so much appreciate the time, Andreas, and thank you again for the flexibility.
Thanks for having me and for visiting and the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you for the chat.
Thank you, Jim.